Hi, this is Kathy Fleischer from Everyday Advocacy, and I'm very excited today to introduce you to something a little different for our teacher stories. Instead, we're going to have a teach or a student story to talk about the work she's been doing with teachers and with other students. So I want you to meet Amiya Harish, who is a high school junior and one of the co-founders of Students for Innovation, which project whose vision statement I really love. I'm just going to read it right now. It's a community of students and teachers dedicated to education leadership. We advocate for innovative approaches, skill development, networking, and empowerment. Together, we drive real change in education. I was introduced to Amiya and her work by a writing project friend of mine, and she might share some of her connections to writing project as well. And I was really excited about the advocacy work that she and her colleagues are doing. So, Amiya, welcome and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that introduction. I'm excited to be here.
Great. So, can you just start by telling us a little bit about the roots of this project? Like, what got you interested in innovative teaching practices in the first place?
Sure. For most of my elementary and middle school career, I had a mostly traditional experience in many of my classes. But then when I got to eighth grade, I had this one language arts teacher that had a completely different classroom. So instead of the classroom having tests and quizzes and being run like units, it was instead a full year-long passion project. And so we would cover all of the basic skills. We would still learn all those skills, how to research, write different types of essays. We would do presentations, debates, everything, but we would do them all surrounding our passion projects. And so, in that way of learning, I was also introduced to AI by that teacher. And that's where I started to see the positive benefits of what AI could do for students like me and many of the students in my class. And as I got more and more into that, that kind of became what my passion project for the year was because I was really, really interested in it. And so then eventually I got on a call with some of the colleagues that my teacher had been working with. And I met a woman through this who was very, very interested in bringing AI into the classroom. And so then I worked with her and I worked up with my own school, and we slowly started to come up with ideas and ended up creating this organization called Students for Innovation. And so we started it mostly like a AI focused organization. So we wanted to bring AI into the classroom because that's what I saw. I got a taste of that and then it was taken away from me when I got into high school. And so I wanted to bring it back for not just me and my peers, but for everyone across the country, across the world. But then as we started to work together, we realized that right now AI is really big in the real world and it's very important to bring it into education. But what about 10 years down the line or 50 years down the line? And so we realized that it's more about innovation rather than just AI because the reason I want to see AI in the classroom, the reason why it's so important to incorporate AI in the classroom is because it helps us teach students how to be innovative. Because our goal as a school, as an educator, should be to teach students critical thinking and to be innovative people, because that's what's going to bring them success in a real world, especially the real world we are going to go into today that's filled with technology like AI. And so I know I've been talking a lot, but I just wanted to say that this project started with AI, but it grew into an idea about innovation. And we've branched all across from gamified learning to financial literacy to tools to use for students like one of the girls I work with who has dyslexia. So it's a platform for any student to come and advocate for what they want to see in the classroom. And it's not just about AI, but that's really where it started for me.
So I really love this. It's, the student-centered thing to say, this is what I need in the classroom. And I would like to work with other students and with teachers, right, to help put that into effect. So can
Exactly.
you talk a little bit about how that works? Like, what do you do to be able to reach out to teachers and work with teachers? Yeah, so just kind of give me like the short version of how that all works, because I know it's complicated.
Sure, yeah. So So with Students for Innovation, we kind of have two branches. So one of the branches is for students to work on the leadership team. And this is a group of students like me who are part of a team that goes and speaks to teachers and educators at different conferences and does leads professional development at different places, different schools, because we are trying to spread awareness and make a change throughout the world. And then there's another branch where a student can start a chapter of Students for Innovation at their own school. And so this is an opportunity for a student to make a change at their own school directly. So they can still work with the bigger Students for Innovation organization. We will give them resources. Like a lot of times, students need presentations to present to their Board of Education when they're trying to push for something, or if they need to um, make school announcements or do different activities with people. So as the leadership team, we help those individual chapters by giving all of these students the resources they need to succeed in order to actually push for change at their schools. And so I think starting a chapter is a very big first step for a student to take, but also for teachers to take, because I know the organization that you're a part of is really focused on educators, and that's a really big part of Students for Innovation too, because students are quite powerless without educators to help them, because we have a voice, we want to advocate, but we need teachers and educators to help lift us up and get us to the place where our voice will be heard. And so teachers need to help run the chapters at different schools and work with the students to then help them go and present to Board of Education or to wherever they need to go to make a change at their own schools.
I love that. I mean, I love this idea of us working together to be advocates. So I guess I'd love to know, like, what have you learned about advocacy through this work? Like, are there some light bulbs that have gone off for you, things that you've been like, oh, yes, this is what I know now about advocacy that I didn't know when I started. So what have you learned?
I think the biggest thing for me is learning about how rewarding advocacy is,
Mm.
because I think there's two parts of it for me. And one part of it is being able to see that direct impact. So when I start very, very locally, when I try to make a change at my own school, I'm able to see the direct impact right away. And so I think I can give an example for that, because one time I was able to push with the vice principal and principal of my schools and actually run a professional development session with the teachers at my own high school. And so I was teaching them how to use these different AI tools that I thought would be really, really cool for students to use in education. And so I was showing them how to use it, standing at the front of the room in a room full of teachers. And then the next day, I was sitting in class, and my teacher was in that session from the day before, and she started using the tools that I was showing her. And so she was like, Amiya, look, like I'm using this tool. Like, isn't that so cool? Like, I gave out this assignment with this tool. And I think that's so rewarding, because literally the next day, I was able to see the impact of what I was doing. But then I think there's also a more longer term reward with advocacy, and that's with the other side of it, the leadership and worldwide advocacy. So when I go from conferences to speaking to teachers around the country, I don't see the impact the day after like I did at my own school. But I do know that every time I speak to somebody, I'm slowly changing their minds, but not only changing their minds, but giving them the inspiration and the passion to then go and change other people's minds. Because a lot of times at conferences, the teachers that attend the conferences are those that are already somewhat involved with using AI and want to take that step and bring innovation into the classroom in any way. But talking to them isn't just to help convince them to do something, it's to push them to then go and branch out and convince so many other teachers to do the same thing and involve more innovative ideas in the classroom and actually listen to the students.
Yeah, it sounds like when I think about advocacy, one of the first steps I always think about is creating allies. And that sounds a lot like what you're doing. Like you're creating allies with these teachers and then helping them figure out how to then create allies with other people in their own schools and their own communities. But this student teacher allyship together seems pretty cool and pretty important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so great. Well, um, in this message going out, I have teachers who would be mostly we have teachers viewing this rather than students, but how could teachers get involved in this if they were interested in learning more about Students for Innovation, about your work, what would be the best step for them to do?
Yeah, so we are really looking for more educators, students, everybody to join our organization right now because we're growing and we want to be able to have a bigger reach so that we can make a more of an impact. And so, as an educator, one thing is you could get together a group of students that you think are passionate that you work with, who can then start a chapter at the school you work at or at the region you're in. But you can also reach out to us directly, and then we can help you connect with students and work with those students to help them make change. And so we kind of have like mentor programs where we have adults who are, some of them are practitioners, some of them work in industry. So they also work with students to help the students make the change. But the biggest thing right now is we want more educators and students part of the program. So if you're a teacher and you know any student who would be passionate about anything that brings innovation into the classroom, definitely go to our website, studentsforinnovation.org, and you can contact us. And then there's also a form that students can fill out to be a part of the leadership team, to start a chapter. So it's all up there on our website, but we really want more support, more reach. So if you're listening to this as an educator, definitely reach out to some of your students and have them join us so that we can make a bigger impact.
I love that. And I love also the advocacy behind this, which is having teachers take a moment to step back and just listen to the students.
Yeah.
Like, what is it that is working for the students? You know, you started with your own passion project. Like, what could you do as a teacher to help students be able to say what they want in education, right? That's what
Yeah,
the
and
message I get from
that's
your work, which I love.
exactly. That's what this is all about. And in fact, I like how you brought that up because I want to also say that at Students for Innovation, we have a virtual summit every year. And the main theme, the message of our virtual summit is that it's led by students for educators. So that's exactly that educators taking a step back moment where every single one of the sessions that we run are presented by students. There are students in third grade and fourth grade presenting, all the way up to students like me and seniors. And I think this year we're even going to have a student from college coming back to say why the high school and middle school system needs to change to allow students to be more prepared for college in the real world. So we have that variety of students. And then these sessions are all for educators so that they can take what they want from them and apply it to their own classrooms.
And so, I mean, if they wanted to join the summit to just see what this is all about, just go to your website and you can get information
Yeah,
about
head to our
it.
website. If you put your email in, everything is completely free. Put your email in, you'll get access to all of the recordings from the past year. And then you'll also get sent emails anytime we have updates about the summit. And the summit itself is April 20th to April 24th. So if you're not able to attend the actual sessions, if you put your email in, you'll also get sent the recordings for the sessions. So you'll be able to watch those as well.
This is incredible. I look at you and I think about when I was in high school and where I was, and you're just doing such amazing, important work. You and your team. What cool stuff to advocate for what students know they need to really learn what is important in the world right now. So
Yeah.
I love your passion and I love the work
Thank
that you've
you.
done. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.